guess I shouldn't say we. Today I am flying solo on this episode. My fabulous husband is in the combining mode, coming home tired after long days, long evenings, getting home late. So we had talked about a couple weeks ago on whether or not we were going to take the podcast on the road in the combine, and I don't know, I just think that it would probably be way too loud and fuzzy. So I actually have been saving a couple episode topics that I wanted to talk about of things that I knew that I could probably just handle all on my own as I fly solo. Praying and hoping all the other farmers in the area and beyond are off to a good start, and yeah, let's just wish them well, and let's pray for their safety and that they can keep up the stamina of all the long days and the long nights. This week, my joy, I suppose it's kind of weird talking about my joy and hard when I'm sitting here by myself, but I guess I'm talking to all of you, so it's fine. I think my joy and hard this week are kind of the same thing. You know, we're in the changing of seasons, and there's a lot of pros and there's a lot of cons to that, Um, doing a lot of things on my own right now, as a lot of farming, ranching wives know, the season's kind of just roller coaster in and out of what we're doing. A lot of changes, a lot of things are happening, the changing of the seasons. All things that I love, all things that are hard. Um, Things are kind of gearing up for sports and activities for our own kids, and I love it. I love the start of school. I love the start of new seasons. I love the start of transitions, which also brings hardships of those kinds of things, of just kind of reorganizing, reconfiguring our brains to be in that mindset. So it's kind of a joy and a heart, and I'm assuming that a lot of you are in the same boat as me. We're hanging on to summer as best as we can while also anticipating everything that the fall season has to offer. So, yeah, that's kind of my joy and hard this week. I'm kind of in limbo of if it's joy or if it's hard. I've been doing lots of photography stuff, which is always joy. Love it. If people are needing some stuff done this fall, it'll take me a while to get you on the schedule, but I'm hoping to have my gear stay out until for sure October if the weather allows, things like that. So yeah, that's kind of been what's going on here right now. Today I am going to solo talk about documenting memories, documenting, recording, safekeeping, memories, keepsakes, how I document our families, photos, videos, all the things like that. It's actually one of the things that, I mean, I have a couple strengths, quite a few strengths, I guess. I have weaknesses too, but one of my strengths is definitely memory keeping, knowing how to keep memories, staying on top of keeping memories, having a system in place for keeping all of our family's memories. And I just thought that now would be a good time to talk about it, just because with the changing of seasons, like everybody's doing like, oh, back to school pictures and recording back to school stuff. And I'm kind of like just getting in that gear again. Everyone's going to be taking pictures at sports games, and it's kind of like the time again where people do those kinds of things. So I thought I would just kind of roll through my systems. And if my systems can help you become a better record keeper, memory keeper, in your own house, yeah, that would be great. The first thing is understanding and knowing the importance of memory keeping and or documenting memories. And it's got to be something that you find value in, right? If if you don't find value in looking back at old photo albums or taking out boxes in your parents' attic in their old house or in a storage room and like looking through memorabilia, looking through family history stuff, looking through photo albums, if you don't find value and joy in that, it's going to be really hard for you to do that for your own kids, for yourself, for your own family. which is fine. It is not something that everybody enjoys to do. It's not something that is required by any means. I love family ancestry. I love reading about it. I love talking about it. I love sitting down with other people in my family and going through their stuff. I love finding old family albums and old records and I love that kind of stuff. I like looking at it. I like keeping it. I like finding a safe place for it. Um, and it's become even more valuable to me as my kids have gotten older, how they see the value. My kids now are old enough, they pull out the family photo albums on their own. They dig through some of Dalton and I's like totes from high school, and they look at our homecoming photos, and they look at what we did when we were in sports, and like I see the joy that they have in doing that, so it just motivates me even more to keep up with all of the memory making and memory keeping. Um and so just know that like this is not something that you have to do in order to be like a good parent, or like if this is not one of your strengths, like you don't have to look down on yourself because of it. But if it is something that you would like to get better at because you're not very good at it right now, but you see the value in it, you just don't really know how to start or where to start or how to like keep committed to it, like that I can for sure help you with. So we're going to start with kids, and we're going to talk about baby books. So I am not a huge fan of traditional baby books. My youngest has an actual baby book. It was the first 5 years. I have not taken it out in a very long time to see if everything is up to date. I was pretty good at it during his infancy. Um, and as everyone knows, my two oldest are adopted. And so I was like, well, what are they going to have? So when I started, I had two plain little mini notebooks that I kept in my nightstand. And every once in a while, when they would do something funny or say something funny, I would kind of just like write them a letter or write them a little note to be like, hey, this happened today. I started off really strong with that. And then as the kids got older, I was like, oh, I haven't written an entry in 6 months. I haven't written an entry in a year. I'm like, okay, this is seriously not working. And then I was introduced to something called promptly journals. Promptly journals are kind of like your all in one everything you need. Like I know some people have a baby book, a baby calendar, a photo book, a this and that. It's like a one stop shop for everything you need to track your kids growing up. Okay. So I got a promptly journal for my youngest when he was born. And it took me through pregnancy, and it'll take me through all the way until he is 18. The thing that I love about it is very specific on the questions. And it's written in a way where I can pull it out once a year. I pull it out every time my kid has a birthday. I pull that out. We do a birthday interview every year. So there's questions in there for every year that that like they turn one, they turn two, they turn three, whatever. There's questions in there that they can answer themselves. Right now, at age, like, so we just did our youngest because his birthday was this summer. Like, what is your favorite food? What's your favorite thing to watch on TV? What's your favorite like the whole first section is just all of their favorites. So that's something that they can help with. And I actually videotape it when I do that too. Then it's just kind of cute, fun. I have them like on their birthday talking about their favorite things. And then I usually take that book out one more time around Christmas time, is kind of my time to do a lot of memory documenting, just because that's one of the things that I like to do when it's snowing and we're inside and it's a snow day. I like pulling out my computer. I like updating photos. I like updating my photo books. I like doing that kind of stuff on like snow days. And so that's something. So sometimes my kids' journals, I only open them twice a year. It's really not a lot. It seems like a lot when you look at it. Like there's so many questions, but like they're so simple. Like, hey, who's your kid's best friends? What did they dress up as during Halloween? What are some gifts that they got at Christmas time? Those are things that like I can easily like remember from the past year. And then something that I do that you wouldn't have to do is once a year when it is their birthday, I will just go online and I will just print off a few photos of that year. Maybe I'll print off a photo from their birthday party, a couple photos from like a vacation that we did, photos specifically for them. And there's extra pages for every year. There's like, extra notes. There's like a couple blank pages for every year where it's like you can fill in your own stuff if they didn't have a question for something that you want to fill out. And so on those pages, I just tape in some pictures. I just think it's fun to just have a couple pictures to represent that year. Um, and then while I was looking at all these journals, I found out that this company, Promptly Journals, also makes a journal for kids who are adopted specifically. They make journals actually for a lot of different things. Like there's one that I think I'm going to get for myself that's like a mother's journal to pass on to their kids someday. Um, and like they have several different kinds. You can look at all the different themes that they have. But I was so happy to see that they had an adopted journal just because baby books don't really serve us in that way. And so the beginning of the book is all about tell your adoption story. So these two books took me a little longer because I got them a couple of years after the fact. So like I did try to be intentional about pulling those out a little more often to catch up. So I am caught up now and I do the same thing I do like on their birthday and around Christmas time, pull them out, do the same thing. The questions are pretty much the same other than the beginning part where um, it talks about the adoption story. I actually, when I first got these journals, I sent these journals to um, their foster parent. And I was like, can you help me fill out this beginning part? Like, tell me what they were like living in your house at ages, you know, 3 and 4 or whatever ages that they were. I'm like, can you help me fill out those sections that way that they have something from those years? And they were so good about it. They filled it out great. They included details, and it was so nice of them to do that. That they have that my kids will have those stories, even before I even really knew them. They'll have that history for themselves. Um, One thing I want to say about memory keeping, just in general, if you have never started and you don't do anything, do not start at the beginning. Okay. If you have a kid who's 6 years old and you're like, oh, I've never made a photo book, I've never done a journal, I've never done anything, don't go back and start when your kid was born. Okay. Unless you find joy in that. Start right now. Your kid is 6, start at 6. Okay. And then as you get going, if you feel motivated to go back and fill in the gaps, then go back and fill in the gaps. I think people sometimes think that they need to start at the beginning and they're like, oh my gosh, I have 6 years. I have 6 years of stuff to do. I have 10 years of stuff to do. I have like my kid's 10. I haven't done anything. Don't feel like you have to go back and fill in everything for them. Okay. Because it'll be way too daunting, it'll be way too overwhelming, and it'll never get done, and then your kid will have nothing. It would be much better to start when your kid is 10 and ages from 10 to 18. They have 8 years. They'll have 8 years worth of memories. That's way better than having nothing. And then if you feel motivated to go back and be like, okay, I just completed they're 8 years old. I just completed year 8. Let's just go back and look at year 7. Oh, I did that. Let's go back and look at year 6. And then you'll be more motivated to go back. And it might be fun to go and look through things. And the easiest way to do that is to go back is to pull out your phone, go to your drive, go to your gallery, go to your wherever your photos are saved and look through the photos. Go like, oh, I got to go back 3 years. Go back 3 years in your photo drive because pretty much everybody has photos saved on some kind of online storage somewhere. Go back and be like, oh, this is what we did. Oh, this is what we did. You can scroll through a year of photos in not that long and just kind of get the gist of like, oh, that's what we did. We went on that vacation. They had this kind of birthday party. They did this for Halloween. Like whatever it happens, whatever it happens to be. That can be a really good resource to go through and yeah, do that kind of stuff. So that's all about promptly journals. that's how I keep actual physical written records of what's going on in my kids' lives. And then Dalton and I, we've kind of talked about this. We talked about this for our anniversary. Dalton and I do memories of us. It's like a journal that's for your marriage, for your anniversaries, kind of the same type of deal, except it's for adults. So we have that own thing that we do too. For specific school memories. So people like to keep artwork. People like to keep their kids writing. People like, and it's like, what do you do with that? A lot of people just throw it in a box. Okay. You need to look up the company called The Short Years. I was introduced to this company probably a year and a half ago. And it was because I was looking for something to give to people at a baby shower. And they make these kits where it's just like this big giant folder where you open it up and there's compartments where it's like you can have the kids hospital bracelet. You can keep like, oh, here was an important toy for them. Here was like you can it comes with customized labels. You can keep whatever you want in the compartments. And then on the other side, it's like a foldable thing. On the other side of the foldable is a bunch of file folders where it's like put in a copy of their birth certificate, put in pictures of their, their prints for their feet and hands, put in their certificate from the hospital, whatever, whatever it happens to be. But I was just like, what a great gift to give parents because they never know where to start and how to start. And then I was digging into this company called The Short Years. I found out that they make a school kit. You buy this school kit, they send you a bin, and then like you have a customized name tag on the bin, and in it is file folders that are customized for every single year that your kid is in school. And on the front of the file folder, and you can actually just do the digital also. If you already have a bin and you already have the folders and you just like want the templates, you can actually get the digital version as well. But it's like there's a one pager that goes on the front of the file that's got like their first day of school picture. It's got like some details. How old are you? Your school, your grade, your class, just a lot of like school related things go on the front of the file. The file goes in the bin and it's labeled pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, all the way. And then they have additional ones. They have college, they have medical records, they have stuff for fun. They have, all of these that you can choose to use or not to use, whatever you want to do. But then instead of just throwing everything in a plain empty box, things are at least organized by year. Like your kids do some artwork, your kids do whatever, you grab it, their school photos, their sports photos, and you're like, where do I keep this stuff? You just put it in there. I've been using that for a couple years now. Have always been using that kind of system, but I just found out that there's this customizable one that has a little more info to it. And then so in the garage, all of my kids have a box like that I just like every once in a while when they bring stuff home, I'll just set it aside and then I'll go down and file it away in their year. And then next to it, I also bought fireproof file boxes, which is where I keep like larger physical keepsake things. So each of my kids has, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. Each of my kids has a photo book for themselves for every year. And so like I keep those in a fireproof safe box along with like, cause they've been gifted some really special items, like things that like I want to save for them. They each have a fireproof box to kind of try to keep those things safe. So that's all how I do school stuff, and if my kids want to keep big projects, if my kids like do something like they build something, oftentimes the rule in my house is you can keep it on the counter for a little bit just to like show off. If you want to keep one thing in your room for the year, like that's great. Other than that, we take photos of you with it. Those photos of you go in our photo books with that project, and then I label like what that project was. Like I'm not a keeper of big, large school projecty items. Just because there's so much of it. And it's like where do we so I can take a picture can go in the book. Book is much easier to keep organized and obviously a lot smaller. So then for photos and photo books specifically, I use the company called Mixbook. I've been using the company called Mixbook since I was in high school. I made my first Mixbook when I was in high school. I made like my own yearbook type of deal. And then when I went to college, I made a book for every year that I was in college. And then I was like, I had my freshman year, sophomore year. And then when I got married, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep this going. And so, a couple tips that I have for people that are wanting to do photo albums. When I first started out, I took out my professional camera. Like, people know that I'm a photographer. I took out my professional camera quite a bit to actually take real photos. But that kind of just became a hassle, and I didn't like really see the need to like, oh, let me go get my real camera so I can take photos. I now just use my phone. I take pictures on my phone all the time, right? Every month, every couple months, I go through my photos. I just like scroll through my gallery while I'm like laying in bed while, scroll through my gallery. If I see things that are like, things don't serve a purpose. Like, you know how sometimes you take pointless screenshots or like, hey, I was taking photos and I took 50 of the exact same thing. I'll delete 49 of them. I go through my photos periodically on my physical device and on my saved Google Photos, and I remove the garbage. Like, we all have those pictures on our phones that was like, here, well, let me take a picture of this schedule that I gotta send to somebody. Like, I don't need that a week later. So I delete it. So, and people are like, oh my gosh, you actually do that? My camera gallery is atrocious. Yeah. But like, just think about the amount of time that you spend scrolling on social media, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever. If you just take like 10 minutes every once in a while to just scroll through your gallery and just click, 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 delete, it makes it a lot easier to sort through photos later on. So then what I do is, this is probably like the old fashioned way to do it, but I just do it this way. I just pull up my phone, go to my email app, and I just attach in emails the photos that I want in my photo book. So I'll just go through and be like, oh, I haven't done this for 2 months. So I'll just like go through the days, click, 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 click until the email is maxed out. And so I'll just keep doing that. I'll keep sending myself multiple emails of photos. I mean, technically, could I just like go online on my desktop, go onto my Google Photos? Yeah, I could do all that, but I've already sorted through these. The junk's already gone. I don't know. It's just the way that I do it. And then I go on my desktop and I go on Mixbook and I import those photos that I just emailed myself. While I'm importing them, I also move those photos and transfer those photos onto a hard drive. So I plug in a hard drive. I have a hard drive I actually have two because I just like to keep things safe. I have a hard drive that's specific for family photos and videos. I have a lot of hard drives because I use them all the time for photography, but it's just another safe place to keep this stuff in case who knows what. But then if I'm ever needing a photo, if my kids need photos for school or for a project or whatever, I can just plug in that hard drive. All of our family's photos are all in one place. They're listed by the year. And they're really easy to find. And so then I take those photos that I just emailed myself and I upload them onto Mixbook. That doesn't necessarily mean that I work on my book right then and there, but at least the photos are there. I would say probably every 2 to 3 months is when I actually work on my actual Mixbook. I actually chronological order, drag the photos in, maybe write a couple captions in the book, and all that kind of stuff. One thing that I have found that has helped me is our family photo book year does not start in January. I personally think that January is the worst time to start a photo book project or some kind of project like that, because January is followed right after the holiday season. The holiday season is There's two times when you're going to have the most photos. You're going to have the most photos probably in the summer, and you're going to have the most photos in December and January, when all of that Christmas stuff, holiday stuff is happening. You have like Thanksgiving thrown right in there, kind of in the same time frame. There's a lot of photos. And so I like when that's my middle. So Dalton and I got married in July. Or, yeah, we've been married in July. Our anniversary is in July. So July is the Steichen start of the year. July 3rd is the start of every single photo book that I do. So in the summer, when I have a little more leeway, I have a little more time, um, and yeah, you could start it whenever. I just highly suggest you don't start it over the holiday season. It just makes it so much more overwhelming, I think, because I've tried it before. So July 3rd, whenever I start taking pictures of July 3rd, that's when I know that's my new photo book. I always start our photo book with our family photos from that year. We take family photos every single year. The best thing that I found for that, that's also a memory documenting thing, is we do it while we're on vacation because there's no excuse. Everybody's there and there's nothing really that we have to be doing. Trying to coordinate schedules and work and this and that and weekends is, to me, is a disaster. I mean, I do it all the time for other people, but for us, we go to the lake every 4th of July. The photographer that we love takes photos at the lake every 4th of July. She fits us in. We drive a couple miles to a location that she's picked. We spend a half an hour to 45 minutes taking photos, and then we go back to our lake vacation. I mean, the only stress it is like we have to travel then with all of the outfits and the things that we want, but it's not a big deal. So if you have like a yearly gathering that you do, a yearly vacation that you do, a yearly tradition that you do, that is my suggestion on when to do family photos, because then you just know that that's when it's happening. That's when it's done. And so our photo books always start with our family photos, and then July 3rd is our start. And then every couple months, I just keep uploading, 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 uploading. I do this whole thing. I email the photos to myself. I just do this cycle over and over and over and over and over again until I get to July 2nd or in the end. And then one custom thing that I do is at the end of my photo books, I put 3 pages. I put a page for each kid at the end of a photo book, and I write a short paragraph about each of my kids in every photo book with a picture of them for the upcoming year. So like it's always like my photo books are just kind of like a revolving door. We start with the new photos of that year. We end with the new photos of the next year. And so I'll put a personalized photo in there for each kid. I'll write a little blurb, just say like, these are your interests. This is what you were into. This is what we learned about you. This is what we're excited about. Here's like some things here's a funny thing that you did, whatever. It's super short. Um, and then when I order the books, when the mix books are done, when I order the books, and if anybody wants to see like copies of what these things look like, I think I actually have a highlight reel about memory making on my Instagram page. If you want to go there and kind of like look through it, I think I talk about a lot of this stuff just because I am really into it. And people have asked, how are you so good at doing this? It's just, I've got a system. And so then when I'm ordering, I order 4 copies of the photo album book. I order a copy for each of my kids, and I order a copy for myself that we keep in our living room. That's setting up new or always setting up there for the kids to easily grab and look at. The ones that are for the kids, I do not give to the kids. They go downstairs in that fireproof safe that I talked about, and they will have a photo book, unless hopefully nothing ever happens to them. But so they're at least saved on the online program somewhere. So that's good. But the goal is when they leave my house, they will have a photo book for every single year that they've been here. And then eventually I will also give them each a copy of the hard drive that has every single family video, every single family photo that I've ever had. They will, whenever they get a home someday or they're more settled in their adult life, that is something that they will get their promptly journal. They will get their boxes of their school stuff. They will get all of that stuff, and they will have their own memories in their new life, in their new home, wherever they happen to be. And so that's kind of my goal. That's kind of my intent behind all of that. And I suppose the next thing that I have to talk about is video. So I've talked about journals, talked about school, photos, video. I grew up on video. I love video. My best friend and I grew up making funny videos. I've always had a video camera, like a classic old fashioned video camera, and I still have it. It kind of just like sits like in our living room, and we just pull it out every once in a while and we just videotape stuff. A lot of times on holidays, birthdays, things like that. Yeah. But then, so I do have files actually on a video camera. So this is something that I only do once a year. I know it's when I'm talking, it sounds like, holy cow, this is a lot, but it's really not. The school years, for school stuff, we prep that at once at the beginning of the year. It'll be part of like our first day of school prep. And I just keep throwing stuff in there throughout the year. That's all that there is to that. The Promptly journals, I really only fill out twice a year. My Mixbook, I really only update every 2 to 3 months when I have a free weekend or a couple hours of free time. My video, I'm taking videos on my phone all the time, and then I just pull out the video camera. This is something that I do on over Christmas break. I do my video always on Christmas break just because that's when I like to sit down with my little tea and put on a Christmassy movie and sit with my computer in front of me. But what I do is I take that memory card out of that video camera, put it on the hard drive, the same with all the photos. I have a file on my hard drive that says Steichen Family Videos, and it's got all those video clips on it. And then I go into my Google Drive on my computer, and go on to Google Photos, and I filter video, and I click every single video clip that I've taken um, from that year, and I download them, and then I just slide them into that jump drive again. So then the program that I use for video is actually the same program that I'm using to record this podcast. It's kind of like nice that I can use that. It's called Movavi. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not really sure. My fabulous husband has just arrived from the field. He's here. I was just talking about you. Look at that time. I was saying how hard you and your farmer friends are working right now, which is why I've got a solo episode coming in. Today we are talking about memory documenting, how I record all of our different family memories.
That is a great solo episode for you. I'm going to go shower.
That's what I thought. That's why I said I'm saving a couple of these solo episodes in my back pocket. Okay, so anyway, video. The program is called Movavi. I actually am using it to record this sound. It's got sound stuff. It's got video recording stuff. There's actually a lot of things on it that I don't even know how to do. It's a subscription thing. I pay for it once a year. I use it for video, and now I'm using it for podcasting. So to me, it's well worth it. So basically on there, all I do is I click, drag, and drop all of the video clips that I took on either the video camera or on my phone. Sometimes I will actually look at them on the hard drive first, and I'll go through them and I'll just like give them a label, like Easter 1, Easter 2, Easter 3, Christmas 1, birthday 1, birthday 2. I'll just like simplify the names of them if I want them to all be in chronological order, depending on how many phone videos I have. Sometimes they're just completely random clips, and I just think they're fun to just throw in there as they are. So then I will just put those all into Movavi and let that do its thing. I go back and through and add text. Like I'll just add text when it's like, oh, New Year's. That's usually how it starts because they start in January and I finish them up in December. And it'll go, oh, January, and then anything that we did in February, and I'll kind of just throw in the months, or like if there was a holiday or something in there. If I know the exact date that something happened, I'll throw that on there too. And then I just export it as a video file onto the hard drive. And then when we want to watch them, usually over Christmas break, we always watch our family home videos. I'll just plug in my hard drive straight to the TV, and I'll just watch the clips and the little videos from there. It's super simple, super easy. You don't need to burn a CD or a disc or anything. You don't have to do anything like that. And this literally, I get this done in a 2 to 3 hour, not me, probably not even an hour or two in the afternoon on some snowy December day. It's just one of the things that I always have on my list for Christmas break. Christmas break's kind of like a reset where we maybe do some extra cleaning or just do some stuff around the house. It's just one of the things that I add to my list to be like, oh, I gotta update the video. And then I usually spend time updating the promptly journals, updating the whatever. I will enjoy doing that stuff over the holidays because it's cold here. So it's just one of the things that I do. So that's pretty much all of the different memory documenting, record keeping that I do. I know, like, this podcast is like 40 minutes long already. It seems like a lot of stuff, but really you just have to start, and you have to start with today. Don't start last year and the year before and the year before that and the year before that, because it's too much to do. Start with today. And then if you have the energy and the ambition to go back and fill in some gaps, great. If not, it's fine, because having something is better than having nothing. So, just as a quick recap, and I will try to put all of this in the notes in the description. Promptly journals, we use them instead of baby books for kids. There's a lot of different kinds. The short years is where I do all my school documenting, could also be used for like baby, infant documenting. They also have a couple other products that I've never used before, so go check them out. Video, I use Movavi. I do my video camera clips and my phone clips. Photos, Mixbook, and I update that like right now I have a lot to update. That's one of the things as we get back to school. If I get a free weekend, I will be doing my Mixbook again because I am a couple months behind. Um, I know already, like we just started our new book in July, and I have not put in any. I don't even know if I've done anything actually. I maybe have done the 4th of July, and that's probably it. So I've got all of our family photos to put in there, and I've been on a couple trips and have done a couple things this summer. I want to kind of get it updated a little bit, because then we'll add back to school photos and the beginning of school and all that. So that's something I'm hopefully can work on. If you have questions about any of it, or questions about any of the products, a lot of this is a financial investment. When I buy 4 photo books, I usually actually don't buy my photo books until like November when they're on sale for a holiday sale or something like that, just because when I buy 4 of them, it does get to be a little bit expensive, but to me, it's worth the financial investment. I find the value in it, and it's worth it if other people find the value of it too. So that's kind of where we're at. So I encourage you to maybe just start with some sort of record keeping, memory making thing, and just kind of see where it takes you. So everybody enjoy the whatever is left of your summer, and go and live loud.